In this lecture, we are going to start a 2-lecture mini-series on United States AI laws and policies. We're going to start by looking at a timeline. We will then do a review of existing authorities that we went over in Domain 3. We will then go into AI-specific policies and laws, starting with the National AI R&D Strategic Plan, the John S. McCain NDAA for fiscal year 2019, the National AI Initiative Act, the AI in Government Act, and AI Training Act. One quick note here, for simplicity, I have abbreviated artificial intelligence as AI. However, if you look at some of these statutes, you will see that the long name of the statute is actually artificial intelligence and not AI. So don't be confused if you see, for example, National Artificial Intelligence Initiative Act. In this lecture and the next, we're going to be looking at U.S. laws and policies. There are too many to neatly fit onto one timeline, so I have broken up the timeline. For this lecture here, we're going to cover the first 5 of these, starting with the National R&D Strategic Plan in 2016 and go all the way to the 2022 AI Training Act. In part 2 of the lecture, we will start with the 2022 White House Blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights. Now, we went over that in an earlier domain, but because I want to make sure that these timelines are accurate, I've included that here, even though we've already talked about that. I've included it on the timeline. When it comes to laws and policies that apply to artificial intelligence in the United States, we can divide them into 2 buckets. The first bucket is existing authorities that apply to artificial intelligence. We went over all of these in Domain 3, and as a matter of fact, we will review them in just a moment. The second bucket of laws are AI-specific laws and policies, and that's what we're going to be focusing on in this and the next lecture. As a quick review, you can see here the existing authorities that we have already gone over. You need to commit these to memory. You need to know from a high-level perspective what they deal with, and you should be able to identify connections between these. So I'm not going to go over these again here. This is just a review. Make sure that you commit these to memory. And again, you remember the high-level application of these laws to AI systems. We're going to start with the National AI R&D Strategic Plan. The objective of this plan was to direct short and long-term federal investment in AI R&D. The plan promoted responsible, safe, and secure AI, sought to develop the AI workforce, expand public-private partnerships, and promote international collaboration. The John S. McCain NDAA of FY 2019. Just as a bit of context, NDAA stands for National Defense Authorization Act, and FY here stands for fiscal year. The United States federal government operates on a fiscal year calendar, and so this was for fiscal year 2019. And the top-level takeaway from this statute is that it directed the Department of Defense to appoint an AI coordinator. The National AI Initiative Act expanded AI R&D between the defense and intelligence communities and civil federal agencies. The AI in Government Act focused on the General Services Administration, or the GSA. It helped set up for them an AI Center of Excellence and improved cohesion and competency in AI adoption. This statute also sought workforce development, for example, to identify the necessary skills for the federal government to have a robust AI-ready workforce. The statute also helped with R&D investment and infrastructure. The final act that we're going to look at in this lecture is the AI Training Act. This focused on the Office of Management and Budget, or OMB, and this act required that OMB provide an AI training program for the acquisition workforce. In this lecture, we started with a brief overview of the existing authorities that are applicable to AI systems. Specifically, we just looked at a quick overview of the statutes we discussed in Domain 3. We then looked at the National AI R&D Strategic Plan. This directed short and long-term federal investment in AI R&D. It promoted responsible, safe, and secure AI, sought to promote development of the AI workforce in the federal government, to expand public-private partnerships, and promote international collaboration. The John S. McCain NDAA of fiscal year 2019 directed the Department of Defense to appoint an AI coordinator. The National AI Initiative Act expanded AI R&D between the defense and intelligence communities and civil and federal agencies. With the AI in Government Act, the GSA established a Center of Excellence for AI. The act also sought to identify the necessary skills to develop an AI workforce and help direct funds for R&D investment and infrastructure. And finally, with the AI Training Act, Congress required OMB to provide an AI training program for the acquisition workforce.